Welcome in everybody to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host Michael Darcy, and today I'm going to preview the Week 6 matchup between the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs Kingdom, we are in for a great matchup this Sunday. The Houston Texans come to Kansas City to play the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium, and I am so excited for this matchup. We get to see Deshaun Watson, one of the best quarterbacks in the game, go up against Patrick Mahomes, the reigning MVP. So, to say the least, it's going to be a very exciting game where we're going to see a lot of points. And it is a very even matchup. In the past, Deshaun Watson has really had no help on the offensive line, but recently they've given him a lot more protection, so he's had a lot more time to throw. In fact, last week, he threw for 5 touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons. So this is not going to be an easy game, to say the least, for the Chiefs, but if they can really pull together as a team, they should be able to win this game. But here's some of the keys. Patrick Mahomes has to get more protection. If he's running for his life, and since that ankle is injured, he's not going to be able to run as fast, and even though he says he's good to go, I still think he's going to have a little bit of issues with that ankle. So Patrick Mahomes is probably not going to be playing at 100%, which, don't get me wrong, 50 to 75% Patrick Mahomes is still better than a lot of other quarterbacks in this league. But is it good enough to beat Deshaun Watson? 100% Mahomes is seeing him run to his left and his right and escape the pocket and make throws that are ridiculous running to his side. And since he has that ankle injury, I'm not sure if he can range to his right and left and make plays with his arm. That arm strength is still going to be there, but that ranging to your left and your right won't be there. So it's really going to depend on how long he can stay in the pocket and take those hits. So the offensive line better step up and give him some protection. The next key is for the Chiefs receivers to get open. Last week, the Colts were playing man coverage, and I feel like the Chiefs did a pretty poor job of getting open. Travis Kelce kind of has an excuse because he was getting double-teamed the whole night by that Colts man defense, but Demarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman really couldn't get open. So, that let Byron Pringle have a good night, but we need to see Demarcus Robinson be a number 1 wide receiver because Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill are out at the moment. So Demarcus Robinson is this team's number 1 wide receiver until Tyreek Hill or Sammy Watkins comes back. Tyreek Hill is listed questionable, and I think that they're going to decide if he can play literally probably an hour and a half before game time. So it's really just how he's feeling on that day, but by the way things are looking right now, I don't think he's going to play. So that leaves just the 3 receivers, Byron Pringle, Demarcus Robinson, and Mecole Hardman, and hopefully Travis Kelce can break their man coverage because he really has not been able to be that explosive tight end that we know he can be. The next key is for the Chiefs to establish a running game. Last week against the Colts on Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs had less than 40 rushing yards combined, and that is inexcusable. You can't win a game when your running backs don't have at least 50 yards. So, that kind of shows you why they lost, but the offensive line couldn't give them any holes to run through. So, Mahomes needs to give his running backs the ball because he can't be taking hits on every snap. The running backs have to find a way to get yards. After that fumble, McCoy pretty much got benched the rest of the game, and Damian Williams wasn't effective. And that needs to change because if Damian Williams is going to be this team's number 1 running back, he needs to show that he is worth it. And so far, he just hasn't. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this Chiefs running game develops because I think that the Chiefs are still going to be a pass-oriented team, but I'm not surprised this week if they run the ball a lot more. Because again, Patrick Mahomes is got that ankle injury, so he's not going to be as explosive as he usually is. But on the defensive side, it is a whole different ball game. The Chiefs' middle linebackers must find a way to stop the run. Last week, the Colts pretty much just ran all over the Chiefs' defense, and that's unacceptable. Steve Spagnuolo was brought in here to make this run defense and the overall defense better. And so far, Tyrann Mathieu is really the only name that has played any good. So the middle linebackers have to step up and stop the run because the Texans have a pretty good running game that they're going to try to implement. Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde are a pretty good two-headed monster combination. So they need to find a way to stop that run because Carlos Hyde's going to come in here with a purpose. He wants to show the team that traded him what he's worth. So I think that the Chiefs need to find a way to stop him from basically letting him get comfortable. The next thing is the Chiefs must find a way to make Deshaun Watson uncomfortable. Because, like I already said, this is going to be a matchup of Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, who's got more firepower at the moment. And I think that if the Chiefs can kind of disrupt Deshaun Watson's mojo, if they can get into his head, because if Frank Clark's coming around the edge and they can apply some sort of pressure, he's not going to be as comfortable because we know that that offensive line is not great. So if the Chiefs can find a way to put pressure on Deshaun Watson, that could take some of the edge off the defense. But if you're also looking at it from that point, if Deshaun Watson is getting sacked left and right, they're going to hand the ball off. And if that happens, I'm not so sure this Chiefs linebacking core can step up and stop the run. So that's really my concern. I'm not really concerned about Deshaun Watson carving up this Chiefs secondary because so far this season, I think that they could use another cornerback, but so far Tyrann Mathieu and a lot of other guys in the secondary have limited the damage. So if they can do that against Deshaun Watson, I'll be really happy. I think that last week the defense wasn't terrible. The only thing that they didn't do was give Mahomes the ball back. So in this game, the Chiefs defense needs to force turnovers and play good defense on the Texans receivers. I mean, they got Fuller, they got Hopkins, and they got other receivers that are really good that aren't exactly big names. So those guys are going to be very good in this game, and it's really all about how the Chiefs are going to stop them. Because I think this Chiefs offense is much more talented than the Texans offense, but I think that the Texans have a different mindset going into this game. I mean, their defense is not great, but it's not bad, and they have a great pass rusher in J.J. Watt. So that's just something the Chiefs' offensive line has to worry about. So this is going to be a great game. I mean, it's really going to be a shootout, and the question in my mind is who's going to win the shootout? And right now, I am more inclined to pick Patrick Mahomes because in shootouts, nobody's better than him. So right now, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. I think that if Patrick Mahomes is healthy enough to play, Andy Reid is going to have something cooked up, so the Chiefs are not going to lose back-to-back home games this season. Because Andy Reid is really good after losing a home game. They always find a way to bounce back, and I think the Chiefs will do very well in this game of bouncing back from last Sunday. But it's very pivotal in my mind to see this Chiefs defense step up. I think that last week was unacceptable, and there are a lot of things that are wrong with this defense. But also, this offense needs to step up as well. 13 points was not enough to cut it against the Colts, and it's not going to be enough to cut it against the Texans. So I think that it's going to be a great game, and who's going to come out on top? I think it's going to be the Chiefs for now. But, I mean, Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, that's a matchup that we've been wanting to see ever since they got drafted. So I could not be more excited for this game. But right now, I have the Chiefs winning this game. And hopefully the Chiefs can implement their defense and get this offense back on track in this Week 6 matchup against the Houston Texans. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys like these videos and want to support me, go click the link in the description and go support me on my Patreon. I would more than appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the KC Sports Report by Michael Darcy.